Ah, Star Trek, that wonderful universe of endless hope and optimism, exploring the galaxy with the mindset of trying to discover the boundless opportunities of what's out there. Oh, what's that you say? The new episode is about the crew turning into puppets? Oh, dear God. I watched this episode with an open mind because I realized that the entire season has been based on the premise of doing each episode in a different theme. My problem with that is that is not Star Trek. Star Trek is about discovering and exploring with hopeful optimism. And this is just, what if we do Star Trek but set in this movie or genre or literally anything but a sci-fi fantasy TV show about hopeful exploration of space?
Hallucination, be gone!
So, while I haven't watched the previous episodes, and I'm definitely not going to, I've decided to watch this episode because it seemed like the dumbest one of all, so far.
This is the worst day of my life.
The worst day of your life so far.
So here's my review of the Puppet episode. Firstly, I don't mind the premise set up by Scotty, where he wants to extend the range of transporting something to 30,000 kilometers. But I feel like Spock would be fascinated by this human need to be competitive against a former classmate. In this, he simply doesn't understand and moves on from it way too quickly for my taste. Spock getting dance lessons is gay, plain and simple. And to get them from a descendant of Khan Noonien Singh is still wild and an affront to the great villain that was Ricardo Montalban.
From hell's heart, I stab at thee. For hate's sake, I spit my last breath at thee.
I like what they've done to my car.
Pike still acts juvenile after 3.5 seasons. He's nowhere near the man we see in the episode The Cage. And what's more is that none of the men are serious, to the point to where you might go blind if you made a drinking game out of how many times the women roll their eyes at them. And another thing with the entire series of Strange New Worlds, Spock talks to T'Pring way too much. They should be almost strangers by the time they see each other in Amok Time. But in this show, they have them speaking or acting like they're in love every other episode, and are essentially just a couple separated by distance. In Amok Time, Spock and T'Pring did not want each other. It was merely their chemical makeup that made them attracted to each other, and their bond was made when they were kids, but it was not a bond based on love, however. If this were a parody show, like The Orville or even Galaxy Quest, I think the concept of a puppet episode would be okay.
500 cigarettes.
That being said, because this is Star Trek, it is utterly retarded. Because, as I said earlier, Star Trek should be about the hopeful exploration of space.
Space!
And the optimistic discovery of new life and civilizations. Not puppet episodes. This isn't Buffy the Vampire Slayer or some other Joss Whedon production. In this episode, Spock starts having a panic attack because he's overstimulated from all the requests and demands on his time. Which is understandable, but not really something Spock would do. But this episode has his wife physically assault him, and then he says, "I'm listening," as if the abuse was okay and warranted. And that's not okay. And then he thanks her, and she physically assaults him once again, after she explains why he needed it. Spock is in an abusive relationship, yet it's portrayed as if it's a joke or it's funny. I dare the showmakers to reverse the roles and see if it's as funny. While it is funny to see the puppets freaking out in the hallways, I'm still just reminded that this is the state of modern Star Trek. There's no one serious in command, and there's clearly no one serious in the writing room, because they have to be out of their damn minds to think that it fits within Star Trek. They really try to recreate the scene from Wrath of Khan, where Spock says, "the needs of the many," to Kirk. Is nothing sacred? Must they tear away every shred of dignity that has ever existed within Star Trek? Can nothing remain untainted by their filthy hands? And this, dear viewer, is what Star Trek has come to. Gone are the days of seeking new life and new civilizations, going boldly where no man has gone before. Now it's the crew getting turned into puppets and having to fight actual retarded villains, just for it all to be revealed that it was just a dream. At no point did any of the writers ever pause to reflect on the 60-year history that Star Trek has built, and think, maybe there's a compelling story to tell within that lore instead of turning the crew into puppets. I'm just glad Gene Roddenberry's dead, spared from watching his cherished franchise be ground into dust and scattered by the wind like this. I would love to make another analogy that is far more graphic, but I'll keep it PG because I'm better than that. When did Star Trek become a soap opera? When did Star Trek become a full-on telenovela? But again, if we could somehow harness the power that is being generated by Gene Roddenberry spinning in his grave, we could probably power a starship and make Star Trek a reality. Anyway, those are just my thoughts about this Star Trek puppet episode. Please, if you like this video, give it a like, and maybe consider subscribing. Until then, though, live long and Qapla'.